Hi vocalists, I'm Laura Donohue and I teach vocal performance for GRAMMY Camp. I'm also a vocal coach, a songwriter, and a vocalist based in Nashville. So today I want to talk with you about the three main components of your vocal instrument and what sets the vocal instrument apart from other instruments in terms of flexibility and range of expression. Okay, let's start with the three components. Now, most sounds have these three components. First, a power source, or we could think of it as a motor. Number two, a vibrating object or objects. Number three, a resonator, which is essentially a container to hold the sound waves produced by number two, the vibrating objects. Let's take a look at the guitar. So, the hand striking the strings is number one. That's our power source for the guitar. Number two, the vibrating objects, of course, are the strings. Number three, the resonator of the guitar is the body of the guitar. This is the container that shapes, that filters the sound waves that are produced by the strings and produces the sound that we all hear. Now, let's go back to the human voice. The number one component for the human voice, the power source, is the breath. More accurately, it is a pressurized column of air that is exhaled up the windpipe and comes in contact with the vocal folds or vocal cords. And here we have component number two, the vibrating object. Now, what is the resonator of the human voice? Well, it's the body, specifically from the larynx to the lips. And we call this the vocal tract. The vocal tract is the resonator of the human voice. Now, I want to tell you something really cool about the resonator of the human voice that is different from the resonators of all other instruments. We can change the shape of it. As vocalists, we can essentially change the shape of our instrument. We do it all the time. We do it when we're speaking, we do it when we're singing. But I find that most vocalists don't realize the degree to which they can change the shape of the resonator and how dramatically that impacts how they sing. One of my favorite ways to think of the resonator of the human voice is as the graphic equalizer and amplifier of the human voice. When we make all these subtle changes, when we open the mouth more or close the mouth more or drop the larynx or raise the larynx or widen the pharynx or constrict the throat a little bit, when we move the tongue in any direction, we are changing the shape of the resonator and we are essentially turning knobs and pushing sliders on the amplifier and graphic equalizer of the human voice. It's really fun to experiment with that. So I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. Explore the range of sounds that you can make with your voice by simply, number one, making crazy sounds. Let yourself make crazy sounds. Get in a space where you're alone, where you're not worried about what people are going to think if they hear you, and just experiment with your voice. Like a child, like kids do when they're playing. So I can, even in my speaking voice, I can let my voice drop back in the back of my throat. I've lowered my larynx, which changes the shape of the vocal tract, and you can hear how that affects the sound of my voice. And then I can raise my larynx a little bit, and I can bring the voice up a little bit more into my mouth, and then I can also think a little bit more nasal, and I can bring it into my nose. I can let it be more breathy. All of these things I'm doing, all of these adjustments that I'm making can be applied to my singing, and I can change and play with my singing tone and volume the same way I do with my speaking voice. They are, after all, the same instrument. The second tool for you is to simply try to emulate other singers. So if you sing along with Adele and try to match her tone, and then you sing along with Billie Eilish and try to match her tone, you're going to notice that your resonator changes in pretty dramatic ways. So I encourage you to explore, have fun. Your vocal instrument is incredibly flexible and expressive. Have fun exploring. Thank you for watching and take care.